the answers, tell me the answers. I could find you, I could find
From the Sporting News Studios, this is Hot Corner with your host, Matt Latevsky.
I got all the answers, all the answers. I could find you, I could find all the answers. If you let me get it close and study you.
That is right. It is the Hot Corner. I am Matt Latevsky, Sporting News Fantasy Editor. Baseball season's finally here. We've been waiting for it for a while. I mean, I don't know. How long? 5 months?
Yeah, at least, right?
5 months. We had that whatever in between football season.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Whatever
for
we
us.
do. And if you listen to the Fantasy Football Podcast during the football season, then you already know fantasy football enthusiast turned, well, not really turned, I mean, you've always been a fantasy baseball enthusiast as well. Eric Ferreira works over on the product team here at DAZN /
I was hoping I could get like a upgrade in title and introduction this season, but
season just started.
Apparently,
bro.
I got to earn my stripes.
That's right, fantasy. Well, it's funny because you have more stripes in fantasy baseball.
I have a lot of stripes.
Yeah, you have a lot of stripes in fantasy baseball. You're very good at it. Football, whatever.
Football's a crapshoot.
Yeah, exactly. Baseball, though.
Baseball's, long enough timeline.
That's the real deal.
Smart people.
That's the real
work
deal.
hard. You figure it out.
And I've been, not you, but I've been killing the game this preseason with rankings and sleepers and.
I just showed up to spring training, so today is my first. I'm going to throw for about 8 minutes today.
So you're on
take a couple of dry swings.
Are you on like the Clemens plan where you're going to be ready to go right around June?
No, I'll be ready. I'll be ready next week. I just need a little bit of underwater treadmill running,
dry swings, sock throws. You got to do all those things.
Yeah, I got to practice
8 minutes.
First. I'm going to throw for 8 minutes today, 9 tomorrow. I'm going to bump it up a minute a day.
God, spring training stories are great. Are you in the best shape of your life?
Oh, man, I have so much muscle added this season. So much. Like 25 pounds of muscle, at least.
That's only Byron Buxton can do that.
At least. I mean, it's been a big bulk up phase over the
you got to bulk up. Kyle Schwarber, he's slimmed down. We got slim ups. We got slim downs, bulk ups, the whole 9 yards. Well, it's weird that we're doing a preview show when the season's already started, technically.
Game 1 in the books.
It's in the books. Lots of homers. A Hunter Strickland save. Marco Gonzalez win. A lot happened.
Yeah, Domingo Santana already cashed in on his sleeper status.
I know. It's not even worth saying. We had him hyped as a sleeper.
Had him. Can check.
Yeah, of course.
Check
Everyone did.
Check the articles.
Everyone had him hyped as a sleeper. Yeah. You can check those out. But yeah, we got all that stuff on sportnews.com/fantasy. Anything you're looking for, we got it. All the top prospects. And just all the things you want to know about that might not even matter until July. But that's when it really matters.
Oh man, we're going to talk about so much stuff that doesn't matter this year. Well, it does matter, but
that's the thing about baseball.
We're not going to sit here and talk about Mike
matters.
Trout, Giancarlo Stanton, and Aaron Judge every week.
You don't need to.
Those guys are in your lineup.
You guys know they're good.
You're going to play them, like whatever. We're going to go a step further.
Well, we affectionately call them the crap bags.
Right.
We're going to get into some crap bags, but this episode, we'll get into some crap bags, but this is a little more regular-y. We're going to look at sort of the cutoff lines at each position based on our rankings, which, it's baseball rankings, so they're all over the board no matter what site you use. But we're going to look at our rankings, say what's the cutoff if you're in a 12-team league, if you're the last person at that position to draft, who's going to be your likely starter. And then we're going to decide, is that a plan of attack? Would you rather say, nope, I got to go earlier than that? Or, you know what, I can even wait longer for my starter. And just sort of generally how you want to build each position. Obviously, with outfield and pitcher, it's different just because they're so huge and they're so.
Yeah, you don't
players.
want to be at the cutoff line for every position.
All 5 of your outfielders are.
You don't want to be the 10th best, have the 10th best at every position.
It's not even possible.
Well, I mean, it's possible.
No, it's not. You have to draft someone in the first round.
Right. Well, you can just take the 10th best.
Yeah, I guess you could just jump it.
But no, I mean, I think it'll help
Olson.
you decide kind of what positions you got to go for sooner and which ones you can
And we're going to look at that. We're going to
on.
reference a lot of average draft position from Fantasy Pros and things like that. So we'll just get started right away with the most god-awful position in fantasy. It's funny. Reliever, right? Closer is more frustrating. But catcher, you just look at and want to punch yourself in the face.
And every old school manager in real life is like catcher's so important.
Catchers become managers in real life.
Got to have a good backstop. Fantasy?
Do you think people who played catcher in American Legion ball make better fantasy managers?
No, not at all.
I don't think so.
Not at all.
Think there's more of them though?
more than no.
So like if we did a poll
No,
of
not at
fantasy
all.
baseball owners, are there a lot of former catchers in that group?
No, because no one wants to play catcher when you're a kid.
Oh, it's for fat kids, let's be honest.
I know I didn't want to play catcher.
Yeah. No one did. But then you get to beer league softball, and people are like, "Yeah, I'll play catcher."
That's the true like rocking chair position.
I don't want to go in the outfield. What if I get a line drive in
You
my
don't even
face?
have to squat, man. You just stand back there. You don't even need a glove.
It's great. All right. So according to our rankings, our number 12 catcher is Robinson Chirinos for the Astros.
Okay.
I think I'd actually draft him higher than 12 now that I'm really looking at it because we have a couple of prospects
Right.
or the younger guys ahead of him. Big breakout potential, home runs, right-handed guy in that park in Houston. Could hit a lot of home runs if he's playing every day. Is that, to you, is that a guy you're like, hey, Robinson Chirinos is my starting catcher?
I mean,
I'm
look,
fine with
I
it.
typically, whether it's a snake draft or an auction draft, I typically punt catcher.
Right.
And I'm usually one of the last ones to take one, and I deal with what I get. I probably play 3 or 4 over the course of the year, depending on injuries and what's going on and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, he's actually the guy that I was going to bring up. Chirinos, last 2 seasons, 17 homers and 18 homers in, 17 homers in 88 games, and then 18 homers in 113 games. Now he's a catcher, so it's not like he's going to go up to 150 games.
Right.
But he's going to be the number 1 guy, we think, right, in Houston. Still got a good ballpark, better lineup even. He's not going to hit for a great average, but, if you can get 20 homers out of your catcher,
Yeah, what catchers
that's
do?
solid. He's not going to be playing that Texas heat. He's going to be in the dome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little easier on the
hot,
body.
though, from the car to the...
Right, but then they're going to turn up the AC.
Okay, yeah, you're
So it'll be pretty comfortable back there. So
That helps. So, yeah, he's that guy. He's right on the line. You look at a couple of the guys. Look, I mean, Real Muto or Sanchez seems to be the 2 that people like, right, as the top catchers.
I mean, I know we're not going to talk about the great catchers,
Right.
but I mean, you have him as number 2, and I'm all for him as Grandal. Like,
Right, I have him at 2, ahead of Sanchez.
Talk about 30 homers.
Well,
potentially in
again,
that
talk
park,
about a
so.
great park shift, a guy who hits more homers as it is.
Yeah.
But the point is, to reach for those guys, to me, just isn't worth it.
Right.
It's one, like Sanchez, yeah, if you could tell me he's totally healthy and he's going to hit 35, maybe. Shoulder, man. And the guy hit under 200, and I've been seeing a lot of, but he's healthy this year. Well, is he? He has shoulder surgery in the
Right. It's
offseason.
not
That
great.
can be a little while to come back from and at that position, et cetera. So I'm all for waiting at catcher. And it's like, then you look, okay, well, if you wait, you're targeting Danny Jansen. I know people like him. He's young. When do young catchers?
Yeah, I'd rather a boring veteran with, at this position at least,
Right.
with some track record. In the past, I've trotted out Wellington Castillo.
Yeah,
like,
he's another guy right in that
he's okay.
target range.
Yep.
Yep.
He's been getting hurt the last couple of years. He got suspended last year. But Chirinos, man, I mean, he's got he always. I remember, like, for the Rangers, I
Love
feel like
Robinson Chirinos.
he would play. When he'd pop in the lineup, twice a week, I feel like he always hit a home run.
Well, he was a splits guy, right?
Yeah.
Killed lefties. You look at some of the other guys, another young guy, Jorge Alfaro, who wasn't great with the Phillies. Now he's in bad ballpark, bad lineup. Okay, Mejia, is he even gonna get the playing time over Austin Hedges? We don't know. Then you got like the really low average power, like a Zunino.
Can always find a spot for Z. I mean, I'm not going to turn away 20
Hedges
to
would be
25
the same type
homers
thing.
from my catcher.
But he's got playing time. It's just a rough position. I don't like overdrafting Real Muto or whoever. I don't like waiting. You're going to have to hold your nose one way or the other. And if I have to pick one, I'd pick waiting.
Gomes is interesting too in
Yeah, but
Washington.
then, he's got Suzuki, who's been hitting a lot of homers lately, hanging around. There's a lot of, my guy is John Hicks.
Yeah.
Who's not good and is on a bad team.
Listen, that's the first thing you always want to hear. Listen, I got a guy for you. Now listen, he's not good.
Look, he's not good.
Got it.
But he might be the DH. He might be a...
So that just changes everything.
Yeah,
So now
a
his not
catcher-
good average, he can get more at bats with his not good average.
He'll hit more homers. He'll drive in an extra run a week.
All right.
I just like the idea of a catcher who doesn't play catcher.
I mean, you can always play Chris Inett at home.
yeah.
Always hope for the
against
best
lefties.
in Colorado.
Home against it gets narrowed down a little more every year. It's just home against lefties. But Austin Barnes was a guy people really liked going into last year, and he didn't have a great year. He's an interesting breakout. Like if you're gonna wait, I think he doesn't have huge upside in any one area.
Yeah.
But he's kind of interesting.
I
So
do feel like they like to play him more than they should have last year against Grandal.
Yeah.
So now that he's the starter, might
Well,
get
I mean,
a
they
real-
got
he might
Russell
get a lot-
Martin,
he
they
might get a
got
lot of time.
prospects, so
Yeah.
who knows? It's a bad position. Someone will break out. You'll ride them for
Do you like
2 weeks.
Isaiah Kiner Falafel?
Why not? He seems like a guy.
Yeah, no, he's a guy.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
No, he's got some decent numbers. He's got position. It's funny, like position, like, oh, he can play second and third too. Yeah, you're going to play him at catcher.
Yeah, that's
He's
the best
playing.
you can do.
All right, let's move on. Catcher, who cares? First base, though.
Yeah, let's get to a good position.
Right. Well, traditionally a loaded position.
Yeah.
This year feels a little weaker in part because so many guys. And by the way, when we mention other eligibility, we're going by Yahoo settings, which are typically lower than ESPN
games,
and CBS.
right?
I think it's 5 starts, 10 appearances.
What's ESPN?
I think it's 20 appearances. I'm not sure if it's 10 or 15 starts. So if you hear that and say, that guy's not eligible in my league at that position, all right, we get it. But just bear with us. But a lot of first basemen this year are eligible at second base, which is weird. Obviously, Whit Merrifield, who is a second baseman.
Right, you want to play him at second.
Right. But, well, you want to play all these guys at second.
Well, yeah, sure.
If you can, Daniel Murphy.
But that's what I meant. I mean, you don't want to play
Right.
Merrifield at first, whereas there are some guys that are okay playing.
I'll tell you this much. You got a positional advantage if you play him at first, because what first baseman's going to steal 40
Get some
bases?
SBs.
Yeah, positional disadvantage with
Yeah.
home runs and ribbies and other stats, like every other stat almost, not average. But anyway, so yeah, but the other guys, these guys are all first, second, and third. Travis Shaw, Matt Carpenter, Max Muncy. And that's right around. So if you throw them out and just say those are second baseman or third baseman,
Sure.
although you can argue third is deeper than first this year. Number 12 at that line, and there's some other guys who are outfield eligible in this group too, so I don't even know what the line is. You're looking right around an Edwin Encarnacion, Miguel Cabrera, Ian Desmond is your line if you get the 12th. Are you okay with them as your
I'm
starter?
always a guy. I mean,
Old veterans.
I mean, Edwin's probably the best.
Okay.
I mean, Miggy, you know, I always got a soft spot to throw that kind of guy.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. You put him in the line. Hey, I got Miggy Cabrera as my first.
Sounds good.
If you do that, though, you better have made up for it somewhere else. Like maybe you drafted like outfield, you know, you did everything else.
Right.
And you're like, well, Miggy, that's fine. But I wouldn't expect, would you even expect, I mean, if you got 150 games from Cabrera, that would be amazing. Don't you think?
100, how many?
150.
That would be, yeah, no way. I was going to say 130.
You'd almost have to switch to DH to get that.
But the biggest thing with, and then take John Hicks bat out of the lineup.
Can't have that.
Good Lord, that would ruin my whole draft strategy. But the thing about Miggy, though, isn't just, hey, he might get hurt. It's, I don't know if he hits homers.
Yeah.
I don't think he does
I
anymore.
think he'll always, well, not always, but I think he can be a good average guy if he stays in the field
Probably.
forever.
But I mean, 2 years ago he hit 249.
Yeah.
And he was younger then. That's how it works when you go backwards, and also presumably healthier. So
I would deal with
lot of words.
Encarnacion like fine.
Yeah.
If I'm dealing with Cabrera, it better be because I locked down a lot of other positions.
yeah,
And, like,
and you're really good.
spent my money or
Right.
my draft picks locking that up. I mean, what about
Right.
you?
Yeah, I wouldn't feel great about that. I would rather, I mean, obviously at first you're probably going to be drafting sooner than that for your starter. There's a lot of options.
What do you think about Desmond?
Well, Desmond, again, we talk about positional advantage, disadvantage. I mean, he steals some bases. He's going to, 2020. But I do worry, at what point is he going to start losing playing time?
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who can play center. I mean, they can always move Blackman back to center.
Right.
I feel like Hampson and McMahon have both been hitting the ball well. They're both
Right.
younger. Hampson's fast and athletic. You got to assume he can play outfield even if he hasn't already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think Desmond's going to have to hit to stay in line. He's not in there for his defense.
Right, and he's not young.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit to stay in line. I'd be a little nervous about calling him my starting first baseman from day one.
Right, exactly. And you just want to get more homers from that position. But you look a little lower on the list, and you got like Eric Hosmer, Justin Smoke, who probably peaked 2 years ago. Some of these other, Carlos Santana, who's eligible at third in a lot of leagues.
I mean, there's homers down there. Crone hit 30
There's
last year.
homers. Yeah, but that's what the Rays. Rays guys have 1 year, go to a different team, and don't hit them anymore. We know that. That's
We've
established.
seen Logan Morrison go to the Twins last year, right?
It's
and go from 30,
almost eerie.
38,
He had like
36.
38, yeah. So anyway, some guys we've sort of targeted or looked at as sleepers.
Yep,
Luke
let's talk
Voit.
sleepers.
Luke Voit, the pace was ridiculous last
Right.
year. It was 15 in like 40 games, whatever he hit.
Hitting him spring.
And he's the starter. Like, it's pretty much, he's starter and cleanup hitter for the New York Yankees. Why are we scared of him?
Because Greg Bird's there, because he can't keep up that pace. He didn't do it in the minors.
No, he's
We
old.
looked up where was minor league? He never hit 20 in the minors, right?
Well, they weren't great.
Yeah.
Put it this way, they don't portend to a guy who's going to hit 36 homers at age 29, 30 in the majors
Right,
suddenly.
so he's 28.
But he could.
He's 28, and
Yeah.
let's see. In the minors, he never hit more than. Never hit more than 19.
He was taking it easy.
Yeah, I mean, last year across all levels, he hit 25.
Right. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, but he's
He's got that weird part in his hair that I don't trust.
Yeah, it's over too far. He's got to
Yeah.
regrow that in. Been there myself.
But he's a
It's
dude.
not pretty.
No, he's a dude you target though, right? Like if
Yeah, for sure.
if you're in that group already and you don't have your first
As
baseman,
you take him as your starting first baseman on opening day, or is he a bench spot?
I mean,
Work him in.
corner.
Not a bad guy to put with Cabrera. Like if you end up with Cabrera,
Right.
maybe
And
you
you know,
try it.
again, we always have to mention there's so many different types of leagues from just, no corner, no middle, 3 outfield,
Right.
shallower to ones
utils.
with all that extra I mean, obviously, never mind AL NL only, but
But I do think good guy to put with a Cabrera.
Right.
Or if you're in on Hosmer and you think he's going to bounce back, you get some insurance, you
Yeah.
go with Voit. I don't know if I would make Voit my opening day. This is the guy I'm going with all
Right.
season first baseman.
yeah. I wouldn't feel great about it, that's for sure. But I mean, he's fine. Like he's playing, right? You're gonna have time to adjust. You're gonna have time to make pickups, etc. Ryan O'Hearn's another sleeper, but he just doesn't look like he's gonna play against lefties. Another guy who was good in the minors in terms of homers. He's kind of older. Was on a great pace last year, 12 and 44 games, whatever it was. I just don't know if you can really trust him. Certainly not as your starter. Like now we're definitely not talking starters, but. If you are waiting, sort of maybe do the whole, I'm going to get 2 of these guys approach, and one's going to work out. We've talked about Jake Bauers there at Cleveland, and he gives you that little bit, some stolen bases, but he's not a huge home run guy.
He had 11 and 388 at bats last year.
Right.
So maybe
With
gets
the
to
Rays.
20 with the Rays. He's in a good park for lefties.
Yeah, great part.
Career 270 hitter in the minors, not terrible.
Right. Runs a little bit.
Runs a little. Does he run a little hot, or does he just run a little?
Runs a little. It's a little lukewarm.
Yeah,
run.
another guy to pair with someone. Maybe you got something there.
Yeah. He's interesting. Josh Bell's an interesting bounce back. 26 2 years ago, hit 12 last year. And I don't know, you're making a face about Josh Bell. What's your
I'm
problem?
not interested in anything Josh Bell has to offer. There's other guys
Nothing?
down there. Nothing.
So he's just a 26 2 years ago. You'd think that was a fluke, and he's just.
Not a fluke. He's not very good. There's some other guys that are rotating around there in Pittsburgh. There's other
He's
lottery
just
tickets.
writing off Josh Bell.
There's other lottery
He's
tickets
not good, he
down here
said.
in his range.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty low.
Yeah,
For
but
a
no,
guy who was a good hitter in the minors, not great power, has shown power in the majors.
all right, just looking at a couple guys below him that also on your sleeper list. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you didn't think of this. They're on
Right.
your sleeper list. Tyler White and Ronald
Tyler
Guzman.
White's killing us right
I know
now.
he's killing us for other reasons, but Tyler White, Ronald Guzman would rather have than Josh Bell.
Right. Guzman looks the part of a guy who should hit 35 homers in Texas.
Could have
But
a
he's
little-
never been a monster home run guy.
Jesus Aguilar.
Well, I mean, what are you saying? You're saying he's this year's Jesus Aguilar?
I'm not saying he could.
Yeah. I mean,
anyone could.
yeah. Okay. Maybe. He's interesting. Peter Alonso obviously is a big one too for just straight up power if he gets that job. That he's going to do that much, I feel. The average, I don't know. But so there's guys if you're waiting, but it's just first base feels like a position you're going to want to address earlier in your draft. But you don't need to reach. I think that's a key.
Are you interested in your 60th ranked first baseman, Chris Davis?
No, I'm not. But I mean, the funny thing is, he could easily hit 33
Yeah,
homers, and we
sure.
wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
But good Lord, it's
60th.
tough to get over how bad he was last year. 60, yeah. I mean, look, like I said, when you start adding in all the guys who are eligible
Yeah,
at
I mean,
other
he's
positions,
probably the 55th best.
at least top 53.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. All right, let's go to second base, where I mean,
And I like this position.
it's a good
I like
position.
both middle infield positions.
But like so many guys are eligible, whether it's at third, whether it's at short. We already mentioned all these guys who are eligible at first too. It's really tough to just look at rankings and say, well, this is the number 12 second baseman, because these guys are going to be played all over the place.
Right.
You don't know. So, I mean, the guy we have at 12 is Travis Shaw. But I almost think, to be really accurate, we almost got to bust down to about the Moncada Brian Dozier range.
Skipping right over a couple of my favorites for this year. Jonathan VR, probably, I mean, he's a starter for someone
Right.
getting drafted.
And he
fairly
can
high.
play in Yahoo again at second or short.
Odor, another bounce back guy, had
Yeah.
a real good second half, at least for his standards. Having a good spring. But we're saying those guys are locked in starting spots, so you want to go below that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like those guys. They're probably on the line potentially if all these guys are second basemen. I like them. I like targeting those guys
Yeah.
more than, I mean, look, if you're in the first round, you can get Jose Altuve late first. If he falls to second, yeah, take him. Jose Altuve's great. I'm not like, oh, that's a waste. You can get equal, whatever. No, take him. Mondesi is a huge risk. We have him ranked really high. Him and Villar. They're the same dude, right, in terms of 15 to 20 homers, hopefully, and then 40-plus steals. And if everything breaks right, 20-50, you could dream of that. They're the kind of the same dude. They both play second.
Mondesi is like young and sexy. VR
He's sexy.
been there before. Kind of boring.
Failed before.
Yeah.
Failed hard before.
Yeah.
And Mondesi wasn't really good in the minors. You look at his minor league numbers, they're not inspiring. And he just had a hot, 79 games, whatever he played last
Man,
year.
if either of those guys goes 20-50 at second
You look
base,
at Mondesi's back of his baseball card and say, double it.
just double it.
You feel real good.
Yeah,
You got 30-60.
One thing the listeners are going to get used to
Double it.
when we start talking about pace and stats, we only really multiply things, but we only really pace things out a couple of ways. If you're somewhere between, 60 to 100 games, we double it.
Double it.
If you're in that like 100 to 120, we just times and a half it.
I actually don't even do that a lot of times.
You're doubling.
I did like 1.25 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Until I get up to over like 135, I'm adding some sort of rate to it.
Yeah,
so,
got to.
Yeah.
Without
100
actually figuring it out.
100 games, yeah, we're still doubling in 100. I feel
I'm
like.
doubling 100
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, Garcia hit 19 in 93 games.
Oh, yeah.
He's 38 home run
Yeah,
hitter.
maybe round up to 40.
And also give him the Rays bump.
Yeah, which
Little subtraction for not having an everyday playing spot.
right, just some minor deduction there.
But all those other things, I'm bumping them. No, but so that's the thing with those guys. So I like those guys, but there are obvious risks.
All right, who you got? You at Moncada?
Yeah. Well, no, I just want to go real quick.
okay,
Mondesi Villar.
Yeah.
They do things like it's like who else? Trey Turner? Who else can do what they could do?
Right.
That's it.
Well, and the thing with VR, he still gets drafted. Like Trey Turner's a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, like 3-4 overall.
Right, okay. VR, you're still getting potential value there with some
Yeah.
ugly but big stats.
I mean, like 9th round
Yeah.
is sort of his ADP.
Yeah. But because he can also crater out. But
yeah, I mean, because we've seen it.
we just think on
We've seen it.
Baltimore between the park and then nothing going on there,
just
it's going to be green light.
swing away.
Green light
Run.
city, man.
What do we care? We're Baltimore, man. We're paying Chris Davis $30 million this year.
Like steal seconds so that they consider walking Chris Davis.
Right. That's the dream. Just so he can't ground into a double play, right?
right.
So those guys are so unique in what they can do, and a lot of these other guys are really good, and maybe you say safer, but you still are like, you're gonna overdraft them. So that's like a very sort of specific strategy if you
Right.
target them. But otherwise, I'm not sure there's a big difference. But yeah, you take Glaber, Scooter, really good. Scooter does something with the high average. We talked about this yesterday. Scooter's going to hit pretty good homers, right? Mm-hmm. Well, so this is probably Dozier. And you can get them at a pretty big range in the draft. So
I'm not completely out on Dozier yet. I know he was terrible last year, but
Yeah.
he's
you just look at the last 3 years. What was it? 42,
his year
34,
moved from-
21 homers.
But he's still, a year and 2 years ago, he hit 34 and 42. He's still only 31. He's going to get double-digit steals at
declining.
worst. And he might be done.
It's tough to say he's done, but yeah, there's a clear pattern.
Yeah,
it's
there
not
could be.
good.
Or he's going to juice up this offseason, come back.
What do you
for
mean by
one.
that? What are you saying?
Take his vitamins.
What are you saying?
I'm not completely done. I think he's worth a shot. Maybe not as your starter, but he's worth a shot.
Well, he's in that range. But I'm saying
Go below him, a guy like Moore, and you might too. Well, you like Moncada.
I
Robinson
like Moncada a
Cano.
lot. Yeah.
Robinson Cano.
Pace those. I
wanna
think he
pay-
was exactly 81 games.
You
I
want to
think
pace
last
those
year.
out. So 303, 10 homers in 80 games last year.
Double it.
Now, it doesn't run, but
All.
would you take 320?
So he is a
Someone?
better comp to Scooter because he hits 300. like Scooter does.
Yep.
Whereas Dozier's going to hit 250, whatever. So less homers, maybe, but marginally.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else the same, possibly better.
Rounds later.
Rounds later. Why not wait?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Or you say, well, yeah, he's 36, had just got busted for PEDs, plays
Right.
for the Mets. No, I'm not waiting.
Right,
You
and,
mean
and Scoot's got something going on in Cincinnati.
great park, a team softball team.
That team is going to put some
Softball
going to
team.
put some numbers up.
We love them. So why am I?
We do kind of love the Reds this year, like offensively,
dude.
don't we?
And they play day games a lot.
Yeah, but they're not on TV. They don't have like a full 162 game
Yeah,
contract.
sometimes they're weird.
Which in 2019 I find not only offensive.
Put a man on the
just
moon
like,
in 1969.
I just
What are we
don't
doing?
understand how every team.
And a traditional team. It's one
Yeah.
thing if the Rays
Right.
don't show their noon games. I'm like
I'm still baffled
bother?
when we're at work and we go to throw on the Reds day game and it's not televised.
well, we always have that weird thing too because we're in Charlotte and
No, that's one of our home teams.
I know that's why it's weird.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, do we have to go to the Fox Sports Ohio or is it on the package?
We're like, and then we look up and we're like, it's not on TV. How is this okay?
We're gonna be watching a lot of Reds games.
We're gonna try.
So Scooter 80, we're
gonna
gonna try. Scooter ADP 89, Robbie Cano 115. So they're not that much different. I actually think Cano's being overrated by most people.
Yeah, maybe.
I think people aren't factoring in age and PEDs.
Yeah.
Brian Dozier though 136.
Yeah.
So you're gonna take that hit in average, but possibly get more in other things. So as far as I'm concerned, I like the really high guys.
Yep.
Like I said, Villar, Mondesi, sure. But I think you can wait instead of that, yeah, Glaber's really good. He might run more, although I just don't think he ran more in the minors. I just don't think on the Yankees he's going to run more, and he can play shortstop too. The guy I like is Odor. That'd probably be a guy I'd target, just because it's like 30-15. I feel it's not like he's done it before.
Yep.
It's very possible.
Yep.
And
He's still young. He's been around forever. He's still young.
And that dude just has the perfect swing for the park. His ADP, Fantasy Pros, 139.
Yeah.
Give me that all day.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
versus
it's the
taking
second
those
baseman.
other
I'll
guys.
deal with the average.
Like he's ahead of. Why is he behind Dozier? I don't get it.
I'll take the average hit and worry about it later.
Yeah, and he's not even he's been terrible in average. He's also been like 270.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause he doesn't walk.
but yeah. Well, he's got
What
3
is
walks
he
this
stretching
spring.
it?
He's got 3 walks this spring.
Hold on,
so.
it's not a stretch if a guy's done it within the last 3 years.
Has he hit 270 in the last 3
Hold
years?
on.
I don't know about
Check.
that. While you're
Stupid
looking up
internet.
things because you're unprepared on the internet.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, I don't want to help support Fangraphs. 216, 271. 217, 204.
He hit 271 one year.
Yeah, exactly like I said,
Yeah,
3 years
except
ago.
it's the
and last year, 253.
It's the exception, not the rule. But sure.
Well,
okay.
no, his career average is, it's 248. But
I'll tell you what, you give me 250 from
three
him,
of
I'm
his
fine.
4 years, he's hit better than 252.
All right, you give me 250 and I'm happy with
All
it.
right, then.
If you give me 250,
We're all
30,
good.
15. I mean, think about that like years ago, though,
Right.
how great that would be for your second base.
But the bottom line is, the number 12 line at second base is just fine.
yeah.
And so I'm not saying, hey, wait, because there's some really good guys ahead of that line, like some elite guys. But I'm saying you're going to come away with a good second baseman.
Well, the other thing is, too, like, let's say you take one of these guys. Like, let's say you take a Mike Moustakas at
Right.
third, right? And you're
Right.
going through your draft. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe he is your second baseman.
You're going to have to wait
and
on
then-
Mike Moustakas to get eligible.
And then, okay, fine, bad example.
And
but
what if he sucks?
my point is, one of these guys you
yank
think
him.
you're playing somewhere else, you go through, maybe you don't even take
Yeah.
one of these real second basemen. Maybe you have 2 third basemen, one of them play second.
Right.
So, I mean, there's no reason to
First,
hold.
let's just have all first basemen
Yeah,
on your
let's do
team.
it.
You can do
The
it.
Anti-Mike Scioscia, who'd rather,
Yeah,
who'd
you
rather
can do
play
it.
middle infielders.
I mean, you can't do it as shortstop, I guess, but you could have first baseman at all the outfield, third, second. I don't know if there's any third. Well, there's a couple like Profar can play every position, and Nico
Right.
Goodrum can play every position. But all right, let's go to shortstop. The most top heavy in the sense that like the top 13 is just you're like, whoa.
There's some good players
I
on this
can
list.
wait until beyond 12 and get Corey Seager according to our rankings.
Right. This is like, this reflects like a little league team makeup, right? Your best players at short. Like they're,
Right.
these players, I mean, I'm looking all the way down to, I mean, you can, all the way to 15, you could at least make a case for someone that's going to move the needle for you. I mean, that's D. Gordon. It's not who I want at short, but at least,
he's already got a steal.
at least he's going to get steal. But I
already
mean,
got a steal
I
this
mean,
year.
15 guys that are going to move the needle somewhere for you
Right.
at short.
And some good guys beneath him too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so loaded at the top, Lindor. Turner, Story, Bregman, eligible, I think, in most leagues, Machado, Javi Baez. That's the top 6.
Right.
You can make a case those are 6 first-round caliber guys. They're obviously not going to all go in the first round.
Right.
But loaded. Got some multi-position guys in there, too. Some third base eligible, Baez, second and third. All right, we got Mondesi and Villar again.
You skipped Correa, but okay.
Well, I skipped Correa, too. Well, it's funny, right? Correa just 2 years ago was first rounder, and now it's like, yeah, okay. But he's breaking out at some point.
Sure.
He's going to do it.
Sure.
So now we're through 9.
Right.
And it's just loaded. We haven't gotten to Segura. We haven't gotten to Bogarts. We haven't gotten to Glaber.
Right.
And Seager.
Right.
So you can wait at short, put it this way. But if people do kind of what you were just saying, hey, what if you just say, if you're in a Yahoo league, I'm going to grab both Mondesi and VR. Boom, play them both. Up the middle. Lockdown steals.
That's it, yeah.
30 homers.
Yeah.
You don't have to draft either in the first round. So theoretically, you could get a 40 home run bomber still.
Right.
That's a team.
Yeah, it's a team.
That's volatile.
Yeah, with those guys.
But the point is this. So maybe you can't get Seager as your starter if you wait till 12, but you're gonna be pretty close. So I think we would all agree we're fine with that. Although, as you know, I think Seager's a little overrated in fantasy.
He's a weird one. It's funny because, I'm gonna keep
better in real life, but a little overrated.
Yeah, it's weird. It's 300, it hits 22 homers. Like, that's a great real life player. That's fine.
Right.
Fantasy, with all these other shortstops, it's not that special anymore.
And also the way
he doesn't run.
Well, that's just it. And the way I like to build my team usually is I almost need speed from my middle infielders. So if I'm not getting it, it's tough. But he levels you up an average,
right?
Which is great. Not all these guys are great average hitters. And look, and he's still young enough where he could hit 33 homers.
Well, and the thing is,
we don't want to rule that out.
His runs and RBIs haven't been super high, but I don't hold that against him.
Well, his runs have 1 year, right?
If he's going to hit in the middle of a good lineup, those numbers are going to come.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of weird to be he's not really an RBI guy. If he has a good enough season, he plays all the time, he's in a good lineup, he's going to knock in.
I mean, if he hits 2, he scored over 100 runs before. The runs will be there no matter what, I think. The question is the ribbies, depending on where he hits.
Also, shout out, he's from up the road.
Yeah.
He's from up the road, so gets a little bump in Charlotte drafts.
Yeah, no, I know. This is a big fantasy baseball town. My God.
Huge.
You can't go anywhere without people. I know it's the ACC tournament was last week. There wasn't anyone out. People were inside doing fantasy baseball drafts.
100%, yeah.
That Duke Carolina game?
Yeah, it was empty.
Are you kidding me?
It's empty.
No way. People are talking about Tim Anderson. So you look at the rest of this list and the guys right after Tim Anderson. We have D. Gordon, we have Jose Peraza, who's just a forgotten man, even though he was 15, 24 last year, whatever he hit. I think the homers were a bit of a mirage, but look, in that park, on that softball team, playing games no one's watching, maybe you can pop another 50 to 20.
The guy I kind of I don't know, maybe we'll do better then, but a nice little consolation prize is Tim Anderson. You jump right over him.
Yeah.
He's 2020 last year.
Yeah.
Stole more bases in the minors, so could be some room up there. Hit 240, that's not great, but he had a 289 BABIP, which, that's horribly unlucky, but he's fast, right?
That's low for him.
Should be a little higher. So
his BABIP, what did we say yesterday? His rookie year was 370 or something, and it's precipitously fallen each year. And given his age and speed, it should be higher.
Right. So, not impossible. He hits 275, goes 20-20 again or 20-30 or something. And you're talking about him as the 14th shortstop off the board. Back in the day,
2020 shortstop.
You take a 2020 shortstop, you would take that in the freaking second round.
Right. So no, he's good. He's a 303 hitter in the minors. So it feels like that average, he can not just be higher than 240. He could be decent. An actual asset and average, or at least
the other thing I like about him is he kind of gave, I forget if it was Machado or Harper, kind of was oh man, those guys, they didn't sign it. They're going to miss out.
They're going to miss out.
He's a little feisty. He's a little there's something special happening in Chicago. I don't think there is.
South side of Chicago.
But if he's pumped about it, I'm pumped.
Chicago's not a bad, they're the kind of team that they have all these pitching prospects who almost all of them right now, you're I think they're all busts.
Right.
Especially Giolito. But we know they have some talent, and all of a sudden, if for whatever reason they put it together, they're going to make the playoffs, and they're interesting. But yeah. So you keep going lower. Again, you talk about a 2020 potential shortstop. Maybe not 2020 at this point in his career, but Marcus Semien.
Yeah,
who's just
certainly had some big power numbers. In
well
the
down the list. And the other guy who went 2020 2 years ago, we have him ranked 22nd. His ADP, let me look this back up, is not high. So it's not just us. His ADP is 176. Is Elvis Andrus.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, eh. So he got hurt last year, and he wasn't very good when he wasn't hurt. But again, 2 years ago, it's 2020 with like a 300 average.
Right.
So he might be the guy that we have woefully underrated. And, there's no reason you should have to draft him as your starter.
Right.
But if you get to that point, again, we're probably more talking MIs at this point.
Yeah, or like free agency. But then I want to go down even further. You get down, you had 5 sleepers in a row in your rankings.
Yeah.
And Orlando Arcia, who
He was bad last
he
year.
was a sleeper, but he finished strong, and he still was like a 15-15.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Last year.
But he was a big time
bad.
prospect. He's bad.
Yeah.
But like,
and he's like 24.
I'm just saying, he's
Right.
24 and he's ranked 29th on
and
this list.
he's on a good team.
Again, not drafting him as your starter, but there are some
Right.
guys that are deep down this list.
That's what I said.
That definitely have some sleeper.
Again, you talk about pedigree,
appeal.
Dansby Swanson.
Yeah.
Who feels like he's there. We got the young guys, Willie Demis, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's more of just a homer guy. Demis, though, is interesting.
Hampson on Colorado, who's killing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's if he starts, his value goes way up the roof, through the roof if he has an everyday spot.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get too much into prospects,
Right.
but I mean, even you got Tatis down here, Tatis Jr. at 34. He's getting drafted higher than that because people are going to want prospects.
You just don't. I mean, he might not be up till July.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's another guy.
Right.
That's
what about one of your boys who you like, Johnny Scope, who can play second? He's short.
Yeah, I didn't bring him up in the second
Yeah.
base section, but I mean, this guy, not last year, the year before, he popped off. Let's see, 32. He had 293, hit 32 homers.
Right.
A couple years ago. He's still only 27. Now, I mean, I can't even say he's in a worse park.
Yeah, he's in a worse
he's in a
park.
worse park. I still had him in Milwaukee, which is wrong.
Right.
But he's in Minnesota and he came from Baltimore, so that's fine. But 293 and 32 homers,
Yeah.
and he's still only 27. I don't put it outside the realm of possibility that he has a bounce back year. And he's
Right.
he's not probably not even get drafted.
Right. And
Depending
a
on
lot
the
of people
size of your league.
like Ahmed. Yeah, he probably won't actually.
Eligible at both second and
Yeah,
short.
if he can do that,
and-
he's a nice, especially in deeper leagues, a nice guy to just have on that bench, plug and play when you need him, and could really emerge. Rosario seems to be a guy people like too because he runs, and he was a prospect. He's pretty rough though, hitting the ball and his offensive skills.
hitting the ball.
Well, yeah.
Not
Or
good at
just his
hitting the ball.
actually, it's not even just hitting the ball. It's like his approach at the plate. It's all rough. But he's got a little pop. He can run. He's probably gonna be hitting like 8 if he moves high in the lineup.
Those 8 hitters in the National League, it's
just
brutal.
death.
It's brutal when you tune into those games.
But if he moves up and all of a sudden, hey, he's hitting 2 and he's taking a few more walks, and
would you rather him hit 9 than go pitcher 8, hit 9?
why not?
I'd rather.
You know what I'd rather have?
Rather.
A DH in the
Yeah,
NL.
DH.
That,
There you go.
Anyway,
More jobs.
exactly, and that's what we're about.
Job creation.
Job creation for.
We done with shortstop?
We're pretty much done, but there's guys like we didn't even mention Paul DeYoung, Eduardo Escobar hits homers, plays third too. There's guys. It's a position. This is a position where I really feel like. You want an elite guy. You got the. We have Lindor, even with the little injury. I think he'll be back really soon. Like, to me, he's the third guy. Like, I'd take him third. I'd take him over Turner. You can get Turner. I actually think Turner might be a little overrated, but he's still first-round talent, etc. Draft early, draft middle, draft late. Like, you're going to be fine as shortstop. You should be, unless you really wait and there's people in your league who are like, I'm going to vulture more than one. All right, third base. A lot of these guys eligible at other positions again, so it's really tough to break down this position. Our 12 guy's Vlad Guerrero Jr., who we know isn't going to be playing right away. He's got the oblique in addition to service
I would
time.
think April, though, right? I mean, once he gets past
If
that
he's
2
healthy,
week-
right now it's more about health than it
Yeah.
is service time.
Yeah, which they love that. They could throw him on.
Right.
They could just be like, now we can't get in trouble for not bringing him
Guys on
up.
a blue string. What do you want us to do? Rush back a prospect? Okay, because you hit him. So anyway,
That's how the Blue Jays front office talks, by the way.
exactly how they talk. So you look around the rest of the team players are in that range, like a Josh Donaldson, Matt Chapman, who,
Third best player in the American League.
well, third best player in the American League, hits 3-run game-winning homers in the first game of the season. Lot to like about.
Sky's the limit, man.
We talked about this earlier today. Harper 13 330. Trout 10 for 430. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, no, it's 12 for 430, but 2 of the years he already has. So it's
Well,
10,
that's what I said,
It ends
10.
up being 10 for like 366 or something
Okay.
like that.
So Chapman is in between there, with
Right.
Mookie ahead of him too.
Right.
Probably Lindor.
Right.
So we're looking at what? 10 for 340?
Yeah, and I'm sure the A's will give it to him.
He's earned it.
Yeah.
So
I
anyway.
don't know. Do you think the listeners get our sarcasm? I mean, we like Matt Chapman.
No, I mean, we really do.
we
It's
like
just-
Matt Chapman. It's just the
sometimes-
chatter toward the end of last year
Yeah.
about how he was the third
Well,
best
he's
player.
a war darling
in the-
because of his defense.
Like,
and
that he was the third
he's-
best player in
he's
the American
good.
League last year
Yeah,
was a little
he's
much.
really
for me.
good.
So,
But that seemed a little much.
little much.
Like when you have Mookie, Trout, and Lindor,
Right.
and Jose Ramirez, and Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman.
I mean, I don't know what you consider.
he's a-
JD, you throw JD in the mix. I know he doesn't play D, but
yeah, you can't do that.
can't do that. Yeah, can't
Put
do that.
JD at third.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see
mean,
what his
I mean,
value
David
is.
Ortiz was basically useless
No.
for the Red
I
Sox.
mean, look,
all
the
those
value's
years.
legit. I mean, that guy's a vacuum at third base, so it's great. But anyway, for fantasy purposes, he's not the third best anything, but he's very good. He's very good. But yeah, so you keep going down the list. You know, Matt Carpenter, we have ranked a little lower than everyone else. He's probably second baseman anyway. I don't think he's hitting 36 again, but hey, he's overachieved like every year the last several years in my estimation. Rafael Devers, we have at 18. Again, throw out some guys because second base, shortstop eligibility, but this is a major breakout candidate.
Yep.
Who, it's funny, everyone loves Vlad Guerrero, deservedly so. They always played less than 35 games above AA, but whatever. I think he just turned 20. Rafael Devers wasn't as highly touted of a prospect, but this guy was a big-time prospect.
Yep.
Came up, hit 21 homers in his age 21 season,
Yep.
but really didn't look great at the,
He's up and down.
approach. This guy just screams breakout
Yeah,
to me.
I mean, he's in better shape from all the reports I've read.
yeah.
Being the resident Red Sox fan on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Looks great. Dedicated himself a little bit in the offseason to his body. Mm-hmm. And so it's still, still 22. And, even
He's
his
a
20,
temple.
even his 21 homers last year was only in 121 games.
Right.
Hits left.
We're not doubling that,
No,
but
we're not
adding
doubling
to it.
We're adding to it. 30 certainly in range. Hits lefties okay. Not too long ago, he took that Aroldis Chapman 100 and whatever mile pitch, oppo. So he's got that. And
Yeah, he's going to be living off that for a while.
I don't really believe this, but might hit third for the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Hitting between.
Why is that crazy?
Well, I mean, because I just think the other guys are probably better hitters than him. Even someone like Bogart's probably a better hitter than him. But they put him third between Mookie and JD. And I
You're
mean,
just seeing fastballs.
runs and rippies are going to be there too,
Fastball,
right?
fastball.
I mean, he's either going to be knocking Mookie in or he's going to get knocked in by JD.
Or he's going to be grounding out
Nah,
to second.
that doesn't
Rolling
sound-
over
that doesn't
right
sound
into the
like him.
shift.
Doesn't sound like him.
Yeah, no, but he's really good. He could definitely go play way above that ranking. It's a stack position, and there's a lot of guys. Again, we're going to go in the first two rounds. Rendon seems to be this guy who's sort of the consensus 7, but people love him. He's just steady Eddie.
Yep.
I like Will Myers more than most just because to me the idea of getting a 25-25 caliber, I know the average is bad, but that's a big positional upgrade.
I wish he'd add that second L to his name though. I have trouble with that.
Yeah, or an E in Myers too. There should be a first E, MEYERS.
Not mandatory. I'd like to see him get that. Get that second L.
No, it's like
first.
the Mats with the 1 T. That's why I'm so glad Matt Latos is gone. That felt like a personal insult every time I had to write about that guy.
I'm not into the Erics with ERICK. That's
Oh, the
just weird.
CK.
Yeah, that's
just the
just
K
weird.
though.
K's bad too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the K.
K's bad
The
too.
CK though feels like
Ooh, that's
man,
real
you're
bad.
trying.
It's forced.
What about ERIQ?
That's just a real weird one. That's just a weird one.
Eric LaSalle pulled it off though. So yeah, you look around. I mean, Justin Turner. We're getting into like Santana, like Sano when he comes back.
Did you mention Donaldson?
Yeah, well, I
you put
mentioned
him on?
he's on that line.
Yeah.
And this is a major, could go either way.
Yeah, for sure. Risky, but man, I feel like he's still got 30 home run seasons in him.
Yeah, he could. Nick Senzel's a big prospect. He's probably gonna play outfield if he plays. But again, our beloved Reds, they got 6 guys for 3 outfield spots, plus Michael Lorenzen, best defensive center fielder.
So let me ask you about a guy, because he's been on 3 out of the 4 positions we've looked at so far, and I'm not even sure you've brought him up. How do you feel about Max Muncy? Because he just came on last
It
year.
just feels like
it
you're
was,
walking into a letdown.
right? Like it was insane what he did last
I
year.
mean, we were talking about Voit,
Yeah.
and like there's nothing in this guy's profile. Like Muncy, he's I believe even older, and just you look at his minor league profile, you're like, what? What's happening?
He's on our first, second, and third
third.
base rankings.
Yeah, I don't think he's second in like ESPN leagues, but he is in Yahoo. So
I'm scared of him.
it just Like,
Seems
what are you
like he
walking
did too
in? So
much.
he's 28, so he's around the same age.
I feel better if he did less last year.
So
wouldn't you?
2013 in the A's between high A and double A hit 25. So all right, that's legit. But then he just,
So legitimate question. So he hit last year. He hit what?
35.
All right. So he hit 35 last year, right? Which seems obscene. So if he hit 28, would you feel better about him this year?
Well, yeah,
Right? Like, wouldn't
would.
you just feel better about it if it was a little bit more?
feels repeatable.
like this 35 guard.
'Cause it never goes from 35 to 29. It goes 35 to 21.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, would you call him a stay away in drafts?
No, because I don't think people are that excited. And here's the thing. He walks so much. So especially in OBP leagues, there was going to be value there. And it's just a good approach to the plate.
Well, it's going to keep him in the lineup if he's doing that.
Yeah, and it's a good approach, and they can obviously move him around. And his ADP is 114. That's not that high. What is that, 10th round?
All right,
9th
I'll
round?
draft him then.
Just draft him.
I'll draft him then.
Just draft Max Muncy. You're not going to be
I'm on it.
But no, you're right. It does feel like if I walked away and my starter at any of these three, even second was Max Muncy, I'd feel like I did something wrong.
You'd be okay if he was your starting second baseman.
I'd be okay.
If you had steals from somewhere else, you were
That's
like,
just it.
listen, I got 30 homers and
then I got to get Will Myers.
Go get yourself some Will
I got to
Myers.
get because I'm not drafting Malik Smith. Don't make me draft Malik
Yeah,
Smith.
you
I'm
don't
not
want those
doing it.
empty steals, guys.
I'm not taking Bill Hamilton if that's what you're suggesting.
William Hamilton.
I'm going to take
Willie Hamilton.
Willie-
How much faster would he be if his name was Willie Hamilton?
versus. I mean, Billy's pretty.
Billy's fast, but Willie's faster.
Bill's slow.
The slowest. He probably would get his average up if he was Bill Hamilton.
William.
Yeah.
I'm not drafting William Hamilton.
Not
Why are
for
you-
my baseball
why are you
team.
even trying to
Maybe
make me
for like
draft?
some sort of play or something.
Yeah, no, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I'm just saying I don't want him on my fantasy team. So there's third baseman
There they are.
for sure. Andujar, Suarez, just dudes.
Moustakas again.
Just
shows
dudes
up.
on dudes.
I'm going to leave that alone.
So what's the plan at third then? Are you like, I want Bregman, I want Arenado, I want
no, well,
Ramirez,
like
Bryant.
my in general plan or the
Yeah.
plan for my current team that I'm drafting this weekend?
No one gives
Oh, yeah,
a
that's true.
shit about your keeper
No,
team.
you know what? Honestly, like the thing that I see from all this position
Yeah.
eligibility stuff in the infield is, I know this sounds like take the best available and use use the flexibility.
Right.
Take
No, you're right.
Take the you get the best available at any of the infield spots
Right.
and use their flexibility to draft the other positions. Right.
Right.
So like a lot of these guys too, like I don't like Bregman as a third baseman, right? Is really no better than Bregman as a shortstop. Like he's a power hitter either way.
And,
like,
and shortstop's loaded at the top.
right. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So like if
Agreed.
I get Bregman,
We actually have him ranked one spot higher at third because at short we have Lindor, Turner, and Story ahead of him. Most people have him ahead of Story. We're higher on Story than most. But
So,
yeah.
like, if you get
so
a
he's like
guy-
number 3 either way.
so if you're best available of the guy
Yeah.
you get, or maybe that's what you do. Maybe you look for the guys who are eligible at 2,
Mm-hmm.
so that in a later round you have double the amount of people to choose from.
And if someone gets hurt, you can just
Right. Like I don't even think it's so much about. I honestly think it's about the draft. Like
Right.
if you say I want Bregman or Machado, like let's just assume they both qualify as short and third, right? If you say I want one of those guys because it's going to help me in a later round,
Right.
take either another one of these deep shortstops or another one of these deep third basemen. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, shortstop's weird because it's not deep per se. It's deep till like 14.
yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I guess these guys are fine, but yeah.
I just
But
think
yeah, you're
I just
right.
think that's the strategy is don't get locked into either position. Really grab a
Yeah.
guy that's in both.
Once you walk away and you're like, I have Altuve, Story, and Rendon. I have zero flexibility,
Right.
but those are my starters.
Right. I mean,
You still feel okay.
yeah, you still feel fine. I'm not saying go out of your way to do it, but I just think I think the strategy is
Yeah.
like grab the best guys and then shift position.
So how about this
like
though?
based on that?
For backups,
yeah.
that's where you really want to max Muncy. It covers you at 3 spots.
I mean, if you can get like listen, we can trash Max Muncy all we want, but if he is your backup,
If he's your super util, You're feeling good.
If he's your backup, that's a pretty valuable.
You
guy
can
to
play
have.
him in util, feel good about that, and then you have a dude at 3 different infield positions.
That injuries or short weeks or whatever came
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So all of a sudden now he's moving up.
Man, I like Max Muncy.
Man, get him.
Eminem.
So glad you told me to get him.
Slim Shady.
Yeah. Back again.
Muncy. Muncy.
All right,
Jerry Gergich's Muncy timeshare was one of my team name suggestions. And only people who watch Parks and Rec
Muncie,
get that.
Indiana?
That's because remember he had a timeshare in Muncie, Indiana they made fun of?
I don't remember that, but I know Muncie, Indiana. Spelled differently though, right?
Yeah,
IE?
it is.
Yeah.
You know what school's in Muncie, Indiana?
Nope.
Ball State.
Oh, cool.
You know who his most famous alum is?
Bonzi Wells?
He's up there, David Letterman.
More of a Bonzi guy.
And my sister for grad school. So I've been there twice, helping her move in to her apartment.
What a good guy.
I was like 15. I had no choice. All right, outfield.
Outfield, I'm going Trout, Betts, and Yelich.
What?
That's what I'm looking for.
That's
Done.
your goal at outfield?
Yep.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Find me a better one.
You know there's someone in some keeper league that's starting their team with those 3.
Yeah.
And they tell everyone about
What
it.
a dynasty league.
They just tell everyone.
Yeah.
that Trout, Betts, and Yelich. Yeah, it's sick. It's pretty good. All right. So let's...
after those guys are off the board.
Right. Now, yeah. Trout, Betts 1-2, right?
Oh, for sure.
Would you take Lindor, Turner, anyone else you'd entertain taking before those 2?
I would consider Lindor if
There was no calf thing?
yeah. Because, I mean, he's putting the steals up.
It doesn't sound like he's going to be. Well,
I mean,
Ramirez then. Throw Jose in there.
yeah, no, I'm not taking him over Betts.
Okay. All right. But basically 1-2.
Yeah.
General strategy. Let's
And then
start-
Muncie 4 after those guys.
Look, if you don't have Max Muncy on your team, I don't know how you can win. There's 3 of them. There's Carpenter, Shaw, and Muncy.
Yeah.
Maybe just get all 3. So what's the general 3 outfield, 5 outfield? Obviously a difference, but generally speaking, those first 2 outfielders you're going to want to be like a tier 1 guy, tier 2 guy, right?
Sure.
And it depends how you look at tier 1. Like if you're a real exclusive tier guys, you're going to be like, well, tier 1's just Trout and Betts. But I expand it a little further than that. I think you can go deeper. Like right now, there's 6 outfielders, I think, who are going right up the first round, 12 team. Trout, Betts, Yelich, JD, Harper, and Acuna. Harper might be on the border. We have him actually ranked higher than Acuna. But they're all right in there, right? So I think you want to try to get, you know, even if it's like Judge, Stanton, whatever. I still like Blackmon. We have Chris Davis ranked higher than most people. Well, he's only util eligible in other leagues, which I think is why he's a lot lower. Yahoo's outfield. I feel there's a little bit of drop off though with Marte. You're starting to drop off at outfield.
Yeah.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. But he steals bases.
But it's fine. You got drop off, but you still got some guys here who can move the needle after
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean,
tons.
You're talking, Chris Bryant bouncing back a bit. Bellinger's had, a 40+ home run season.
Not quite.
He didn't have 40 that
I think it
year?
was 39.
All right, well, whatever.
It's no Muncy.
Hoskins, a big power guy.
Shoulder. See his shoulders barking on him?
Springer's been awesome.
Springer. I mean, so
there's a lot of
Soto.
dudes
So
here.
there's 2 dudes who I think we might actually be a little lower on than most. We're definitely lower on Benintendi than most. And Benintendi's, look, I get it. He's really good. You're Johnny Red Sox, but you hate lefties at Fenway though.
Well, no, not for hitting in general, for hitting homers. Mm-hmm. Like Bennett.
So they got to be. So you're saying they have to be on PEDs like Ortiz did homers.
Yeah. No, I mean, Benintendi, he's fine. He uses
Right.
the wall and all that, but I mean, I don't think a smaller guy is
How
going to
many
hit it.
doubles would Joe Mauer have hit if he played?
Oh, so many doubles.
Lots of doubles.
But like someone like Benintendi who's not huge is not going to hit 1 million home runs at Fenway.
Right.
And it's fine. I mean, you throw him in that little ballpark down in New York and, Trot Nixon would have had 30
Look at
homers.
this stuff. Look at this.
But I don't have a problem with lefty hitters at Fenway.
Right.
It's just not going to hit a lot of dingers. Yeah.
But for someone like Benintendi, I've seen people be like 25 this year. It's not impossible.
No, I mean, it's done in 2020, so.
Right. But it feels to me like he's lower on the homers.
If you can get Benintendi in a doubles league, that's where you want to move him up the list.
Future homers league. And Juan Soto, another guy people are nuts over. They love the younger.
I get so
players.
nervous about these sophomore.
These sophomores have
I'm
a way
a
of
little nervous about
plateauing a
Acuna.
bit. Me too. They have a way of plateauing a bit before then they have the big breakouts.
Yeah.
When they're that good
and then
as
just
rookies.
become like great all-star,
Just,
perennial
yeah.
all-star players.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this thing where you take Acuna's numbers or Soto's numbers and just think they're going to get
Better.
Well, we do the double it joke, but people kind of do that not because of games played, but kind of because of age or just talent level. It doesn't usually work like that. And in the process of overdrafting them, you can miss out on really solid players who are way more boring to own, like Tommy Pham.
Yep.
Who it's
Same
just
though, 2020.
Oh, easily. Like, that was my thing. I kind of compared him to Benintendi.
Yeah.
And I think Benintendi's going to hit for a better average, which,
And you could probably get more counting stats. He's in a better lineup.
probably.
Well, maybe not ribbies if he's leading off, but he's going to score a ton of runs.
Yeah. But the point is, like, Pham ain't that much below him. Put it that way.
Sure.
In my opinion. Pham's got injury issues, though. He's older, so I totally get. But anyway, so if the approach is like, I want one of these, like, really good guys, like, you don't really want to wait at outfield, right? So my first outfielder is a tier 3 guy.
No, and one of the things
Right.
with outfield, I think, too, is you really want to make sure you get a guy who has power and at least some speed in the outfield.
Well, at least, yeah. I mean, you're going to need speed at one spot.
Yeah.
Probably more than one.
Because I don't think you don't want to play a one-dimensional. You don't want all your outfielders to be like one-dimensional. You want them contributing like at least one.
I mean, you're going to
across
have
the
some
board.
that are just kind of straight up power hitters.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
that's inevitable. But there's only, we made fun of them earlier. And they have value, but there's only a handful of the Malik Smiths, Bill Hamiltons, D. Gordons. There's not many.
But even like the Benintendi thing or the Pham thing,
Right.
Like that's nice. Throw a 2020
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
not gonna hurt you in any way. Going to allow you to have a one-dimensional guy.
There's
here or there.
there's a good
Yeah.
amount of them. The point is, you're going to have a Schwarber or a Conforto.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to
Or
use
an Ozuna.
and if you have 5 outfield spots, you're going to use
Right.
those positions to get the stat that you need.
Right. But even if you have 3.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to try to get at least one 5 category or 4 category, whatever they hit in average, and then one who's probably more of a slugger than anything else.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, outfield's just, they're all the same. It's just like, well, he's a 25 homer. If everything breaks right, he hits 33. If things go bad, he hits 19. That's kind of what they do. And they're just ultimately, their value is going to be decided by how many run scoring and run, RBI producing opportunities they get.
Right.
Like, we see Nomar Mazara, one of our favorites. He had-
Mr. 20 home run.
well, yeah, it's 20 only.
No matter how many games.
It's going
left,
up,
that's-
though. It's going up.
Yeah, I'd take the over.
And he focused on power this offseason.
Okay, how
And
about
his-
launch angle?
That's a launch angle. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I mean, his pace was better last year, too. He just
Yeah.
missed some games. But the point is, 2 years ago, he had a 100 RBI season. Last year was 70. So, and that just kind of comes down to breaks.
Yeah, your lineup.
Right.
Guys are hitting homers in front of you.
Right. So that's going to kind of be, you're going to have one of those guys almost inevitably. Now, in 3 outfield leagues, that's probably your 3rd outfielder, and you're feeling good. 5 outfielder leagues, you're going to have to start dipping,
Yeah.
and probably at least your 5th outfielder, maybe 4 and 5, depending how much you invested in pitching. You might be kind of going, hey, I'm looking for some sleepers.
How do you feel about a Trout, Stanton, Haniger outfield?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. Well, who'd ever outfield that good?
2018 fantasy champion.
You're cool. You're cool. Keeper team. Yeah. People love hearing about other people's.
Yeah, you want me to tell you a
keepers.
little bit about the rules and the format?
Nope.
No? Okay, got it.
Nope.
Got it.
So we were big on Domingo Santana as a sleeper. That cat got out of the bag a few
Man.
weeks ago, and then when he hit the
Also-
grand slam
All it took was
on fake opening day.
one grand slam this morning, and now he's rising up draft boards.
Yeah, but no, like those types of guys, you can
You know what's
just
like kind of interesting this year? You got him at 28, which if I had to guess, I would have said you would have had him lower just because he's older and boring. Is McCutchen.
Kutch hitting leadoff.
Hitting leadoff,
Kind of don't like that though, but
good lineup, small park,
Yeah.
still hit 20 home runs last year.
yeah, steals some bases.
Yeah, like he's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, kind of like
Potentially
him.
be like not really an exciting
He's
guy
not
for
going to be
someone else.
sought after. Let's
You
put it
wonder,
that
like,
way.
you wonder, like, what's his ADP? Like, where's he actually getting
Let me
drafted?
check. But the guy we have one spot below him, David Dahl,
Yeah.
is going to go ahead of him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So McCutchen 135, Dahl 102.
Yeah.
So David Dahl, we've talked about him a ton, and that guy, he don't have normal injuries.
No.
He loses organs.
That also means he's going to be a little lighter on the base pass,
That's
though.
true.
Not carrying that spleen
But he's
around
got
anymore.
like, well, my rib was poking my
We just had him
lung,
take
so
it out.
just had to do it.
Just had him take it out. Just rip it out.
So yeah, but the point is,
No, you get let's talk about your 5 outfielder league. Mm-hmm. You get McCutchen. You sneak McCutchen as your 4th outfielder. I think you're doing all right.
yeah, I don't think you can get him 4th, can you? 3rd?
I might be able to.
Maybe.
I'd be able to talk him down.
Yeah, maybe. But there's just a lot of guys and a lot of ways to go.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're gonna dig deep into the rankings. I mean, what are you gonna do? And it's also funny too. It's like you really like Byron Buxton this year, let's say as a sleeper. Austin Meadows. You're gonna wind up overdrafting them,
Good.
which is fine. But I don't know if you need to because there's other guys. But you're just like, nope, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna skip over guys who maybe 20 spots ahead of him in the rankings, 15. But that's just kind of
you're gonna overdraft Avasel. We know that.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, he doesn't have a place to play. It's funny. All the offense that happened yesterday, one of my other dudes that I love is Laureano for the A's. And I think he went 0 for 5, like he did nothing. And it's the opposite effect of Santana. I'm like, keep driving that value down.
Yeah.
Those games wouldn't count for me anyway.
My draft's in 2 days.
This wouldn't count for me anyway. This is great.
What other sleepers you want to talk about on here?
I mean, those are big ones. There's some old ones like a Leonis Martin,
Yep.
who's just like, why would I ever draft him?
Yep.
I like him in that park. He can run a little bit, hit a few homers, but he's probably beyond 5th outfielder. I mean, he's getting drafted at benches, if at all. But those are some guys where I think you can get so focused on drafting a Buxton or a Meadows or whoever that must-have, Harrison Bader, whoever those must-have sleepers in your mind are. And you can just skip over some of those veterans.
Well, I'm a little shocked that I had to scroll all the way down to outfielder 90 from you, and I'm wondering how he hasn't been brought up yet.
Fran Mill. He probably should be higher. You're right. It's just, I think playing time is just too big of a concern. But yeah, we got him behind guys who have playing time issues too.
Yeah, I mean, he's 10 spots behind Jose Martinez.
Right.
Playing every day.
He should be higher. I think there's
Steve Pierce.
Yeah, he gets stats.
God,
He
these
finds a way.
rankings are trash.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Maybe.
Who did these?
He finds a way to get stats, Steve Pierce. But Fran Mill,
Finds a way to get W's.
that too.
Yeah.
Guy wins championships.
Does. He's a winner.
He's a pro. He can hit bombs, man. I guess then just Renfroe goes to the bench. That's just what happens.
I think he
He's
will.
bench Hunter Renfroe. Guy who hits 26 homers. I'm doubling his.
I mean,
his 112 game, 26
the
homers.
Padres, man. The Padres, too many guys.
Yeah, kinda.
One of the worst teams in baseball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting
guys.
for that trade for Bauer or Kluber.
Yeah.
And it frees up a spot. Like it works.
It works for everyone because you got
Everyone.
Renfroe in Cleveland, popping
Boom,
dingers,
hit bombs.
open outfield there, available spots available everywhere. You get Fran Mill into that lineup. You get a real pitcher in San Diego. All of a sudden, things are getting exciting.
Everyone wins.
Things are getting exciting in
I mean,
Southern
I guess
California.
Indians fans don't really win, but every fantasy owner wins. So that's sort of the approach. Yeah, leave a couple spots open at the end of your bench for some of these sleepers, but you're going to be going through these guys. The Lou Brinsons of the world.
Sweet Lou Brinson.
He's low. A Cedric Mullins the second for the Orioles playing softball.
I remember I had his dad on my team.
I had the first for sure. Kristen Stewart for the Tigers can hit some homers, but probably nothing else. There's going to be a million guys. So that's sort of the approach. So starting pitcher, pretty similar. Where you're just like, okay, I want to get a tier 1 guy, tier 1.
Don't you feel like there's so many guys with question marks at the top of this list?
It's pitching, everyone.
But I mean, okay, Scherzer, best one. No question marks, right? Sale, question marks.
Yeah.
Right? DeGrom, see, perfect. No question marks.
Wins, but
Okay.
feels like he's going to be good.
Old Verley.
He's old Verley. Is he old Verley or old Verley?
I don't have the utmost trust in him to continue.
Well, the numbers took a big jump upward last year, and that it doesn't always repeat when a guy's that old. Cole's numbers took a jump too upward, but I like him.
Cole's fine, Kluber's fine, Nola's fine.
I mean,
Krause is
Kluber's
fine.
declining slightly, but he's still a beast.
But then you get down Syndergaard, 32 starts in 2 years. That's scary.
Worry.
Blake Snell seemed way too good last year for a bad team.
Way too good.
Way too good for a bad team.
Paxton,
Paxton gets
major
hurt every
worries.
year. Bueller's never really done it.
Young.
Right? Corbin's fine. Bauer's fine.
I like how just Bauer were like, oh yeah, he figured it out. Like, this is a guy who was beyond mediocre for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then he was awesome, like just incredible last year.
Barrios is, he's got good stuff, but he's young. Strasburg gets hurt every year. Greinke's getting old.
Sure, yeah, wasn't very good last year.
Clevenger, I don't
What's
know.
the ceiling? I think is the question with him.
Mike Clevenger, Flaherty's a young guy, and then Clayton Kershaw, starting pitcher 20 in the rankings. But like he's awesome, right?
We think so. Yeah.
But like what's left? Like if he starts 15 times this year, like what's left? I mean, if a guy's hurt,
Yeah.
then a guy's hurt, he's
back.
done, right?
Yeah.
So like what's shoulder and back? Those have to be. I mean, it's 3 things for a pitcher, right? Shoulder, back, and elbow. He's got 2 out of 3.
Right.
Like I don't know. How much value? Where does he have to go for you to be like, oh, I'll take a shot on Kershaw?
I don't even know. I mean, it's like, because it's nice you can put him on a DL. He's not going to cost you that roster spot, but the opportunity cost of drafting him too high is a killer.
That'd be someone else from Severino.
Same thing.
Same thing, right?
Same
I mean, these are really good pitchers.
What's so funny, though, is how we know so many of these guys will go on the DL at some point, but the guys who start on the DL is that much scarier.
Well, for pitching, for hitting, I think we overrate it.
Starting on the DL.
Right.
Right.
But
I
pitching,
agree.
I think, is legitimate
Because you're
because.
just like, is this going to last all year?
And are they going to rush him back?
Right.
And is he not really going to be healthy when he starts? Because
Right.
they get anxious and because
Right.
it takes time to rehab it. So they inevitably like push those guys, and maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Be.
No, you're right. I
And
mean,
you're only getting 32 to 36 starts.
and the
or
other
whatever
thing
to
about
begin with.
pitching that's interesting is just there's so many strikeouts now. You can find strikeouts. Like I feel like there used to be a time when strikeouts, like really high strikeout guys, were a premium. Now you can find high strikeout guys. It's not hard to find Ks, and it's so tough to predict ERA and even WHIP for that matter.
Yeah.
And obviously wins are impossible. You know, I mean, you know how I feel. It should be quality. Quality starts is far from perfect stat, but that's
Well,
a
now
better
it's funny. Now it's
indicator
funny.
of
And,
wins
you know, I don't
than
think
wins.
this opener thing holds water for teams with good starters.
Yeah.
But throw quality starts out the window if openers take off,
That's true.
right?
They're gonna have to tweak it.
Yeah. So you want to talk about anybody here specifically?
Specifically, well, again, it's the general strategy, right? Because pitching is the position where some people do the old screw it. I'm gonna wait and just load up on stud hitters because these guys get hurt and all these stats are so unpredictable anyway. So I'm just gonna start taking guys in tier 4.
Throw as much
Right.
stuff against the wall.
And I'm
as
gonna
you
grab
can.
a ton of sleepers. I'm gonna get at least 1 or 2 breakouts. I'm gonna pick 1 or 2 guys up.
I'm gonna hit
play
the
him in
wire all
stretches.
year. I'm gonna do 2 start stuff.
I
if you're
don't
in a
have the
weekly league.
stomach to do that. I don't. But at the same time, I've never been one to overpay for starting pitching either. So a lot of times I end up coming away from my draft looking at my rotation and being really disappointed.
Right.
So,
I mean, it depends on your league makeup, right? If you're in a
Yeah.
daily league with unlimited transactions, and stream away, right? If
Right.
you're in a weekly league and you want to play the 2-start game,
well, in weekly leagues, I think 1 spot should always be held for a 2-starter.
right?
I'm
So-
so if you're like, oh, weekly league, it's like we start 5 guys. To me, you need 4 good starters then because that 5th spot should always be rotating.
But there are leagues with transaction limits.
no.
And like mine it's a auction budget, but there's
Right.
we only have $100 and you have to spend $1.
Right.
So I mean, you can't do the 2-start load up every week.
Every week. Well, it's 24?
Yeah.
If they're always $1.
Right.
That's tough. That's a third of the or a fourth of the budget.
Who you want to talk about? You want to talk about Shane Bieber?
That's the Biebs.
Bieber?
What an unfortunate last name. It looks good though. Doesn't walk anyone. Decent strikeouts.
Did you get any team names for him?
Just true believers.
Okay.
That's because that's what Bieber's fans call it, right? They're believers.
Believers, yeah.
I feel there's probably more.
Yeah, I mean, you could have went with any kind of song title there.
Well, yeah, if you really want to go off the yeah. I don't know enough Justin Bieber song titles though to do it. And I'm not saying that to sound cool. Like I just don't.
He's fine. I mean, he's the second best Justin, but you know.
Yeah, he is. That's a fact. I was trying to think of another random.
You want to talk about Bieber at all?
I mean, just he doesn't walk anyone, so that whip's going to be low.
Right.
Question is, can he keep the home? Because his home runs were remarkably low in the minors too, and it went up last year in the majors as to be expected when he pitched. But if he can be a low walk and low homer guy,
Yeah.
even if
Good. That's a good combo.
yeah, even if the Ks are only at 8 per 9, I mean, good lord, that he's going to be a stud.
Right. Got to think there's some wins there in Cleveland.
So I really like him. A couple guys I like, I like Skaggs as a breakout. I feel he's on that verge and could really take a big leap. I tabbed Eduardo Rodriguez too. The Phillies got both Eflin and Pivetta. Pivetta especially, really high strikeout guy. Obviously, they're sort of an it team right now. That doesn't always translate to pitching in terms
I
of
hate that park.
you hate the park, and obviously, yeah, you might get wins, but if you're losing a lot of, you're giving up homers, but you like what you see from him. Two guys that are interesting because they're either going to start in the minors or the bullpen is Arias and Alex Reyes. At this point, Reyes is a major injury worry because he's had multiple year-long injuries. Arias, okay, he had his Tommy John. He did his Tommy John time.
Every time
like
he's pitched in the big leagues, he's gotten people out.
Yeah.
But there's 100% going to be an innings.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know what you're going to get
But he can be a
him.
dominant multi-inning reliever, plus give you 10 to 15 starts.
But yeah, he has not shown at all that he can't get big league
and he's
hitters
so
out.
young, and he's just so talented. Lucchesi, people like him, and that's a lot of park, better team there with the Padres, high K rate. He gives up homers, though. I don't like when guys give up a lot of homers in good parks already.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
The Braves have, every pitcher the Braves have is like a potential sleeper, Toussaint and Newcomb and guys like that. So, but basically the question is, how many of those guys do you want on your team? Those types of pitchers.
What's
your Tyler Glasnow, your Jake
What's the standard
Musgroves.
staff? Mine is 6 starters for relievers. What's?
I think it's five or 6 starters.
Yeah, I like to go 1 ace.
Yeah.
1 like flat out ace, right?
So you'll pay.
I like to. I try to, right? One.
Would you take a pitcher in the first round?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Scherzer's on the board at 8.
No.
Okay. A lot of people would.
Never done it.
His ADP's higher than that.
Never done it. I think it puts you too much behind. Too much behind.
But you still will pay, quote unquote. So what's your pay? What's the highest you'll take a pitcher? Second round? Pick 13.
Well, it's funny. I haven't done a snake draft in a while. I do the auction.
Right. Yeah, no, because your league's so cool.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe third round, maybe?
Third. So then you're not going to get that good of a pitcher.
I guess it's hard. Like, I don't know. A lot of times you only get 2 or 3 or 4 pitchers taken in the first 2 rounds.
Now, granted, and that's higher now. So ADP, isn't exactly like how a draft's going to go, obviously. But you look at it. This is, again, fantasy pros. Max Scherzer, 4. DeGrom, 10. Sale, 11. Where are we?
Well,
Verley, 21. Klubs, 24. Nola, 25. So that's start of the third round.
To answer your
There's
question,
5 or 6 guys gone.
if I have a 5 or 6 man starting staff,
Yeah.
I like to get 1 ace, top 10 guy. Just call it top
Sure.
10 guy.
Right.
I like to get 1 guy we'll even say between 11 and say 25. And then I would throw 3 spots to sleepers,
You'll dig deep.
streamers.
Okay.
Like,
You'll dig a little deeper.
Whatever.
So
I
you're
would
sort
say
of like a top-heavy approach.
1 really good, 1 good, and the rest is.
So if you're like,
whatever
I
you
want
can
2
find.
top 25, then your number 3 might not be till 50-something.
Then I'd probably wait, yeah.
Okay.
I wait probably longer than that.
I think I wind up doing that a lot, even though I'm always like, I'm going to get 3 pretty good ones. And then I trust that I'll be able to dig out some of these sleepers and obviously work the wire better than everyone else.
3 pretty good ones?
That's what I usually say, and then I wind up with 2. And I wind up doing a lot more sleepers. Than
you
sort of
want
plan.
3, obviously, but I think most of the time the third one comes from that other
Well,
batch.
you know what screws it up is closers. And we'll move to them.
Let's move to them.
'Cause
we
we
are,
could-
we
we
are
could
going
talk-
long today.
Yeah, it's a little long. We could talk forever about starters and outfielders. So closers, we could talk forever about too. We already know that it's an impossible position. Why bother? But we have to bother in most leagues. So
I'll tell you what, this is going to be closers, fantasy. We've talked about it forever with the
Yeah.
whole saves. It is going more and more away from real closers. Like, this is something I feel like
fantasy league should adjust.
really has to
we've
change
been
now.
beating this drum for a long time.
Right, and maybe too early, right? Or
We were ahead of our time, as with many things.
For hardcore people, we were probably like, it was fine.
Right.
But for a lot of fantasy baseball people, it was probably too early. But
Holds, those
now
are stupid.
But at least back then, managers were still using real
It was
closers.
pretty traditional setup.
Now you've got managers not doing that.
Right.
So now we've got this category that we have to care about. And you can talk about it here. What do we have? 10 guys who are good and have a legitimate job.
Yeah, well, maybe a little more than that, but going into the year, I was like, there's 10 jobs legitimately up for grabs, plus Craig Kimbrell floating around, who's going to crash someone's party at some point. And it's just, what am I doing? Why do I want to ever draft Sergio Romo or Drew Steckenrider? Why do I want to do that? I don't. Do you? I don't.
I got some news for you.
Lay it on me.
As of 2:35 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, we tell people that when we're taping this, Craig Kimbrell pretty serious talks with the Brewers.
Yeah, I saw that. They were talking to each other.
And it makes sense. I don't think they care that much about Corey Knebel.
I mean, they already have the best bullpen. I mean, well, I loved it that I saw the thing. They're like, with Jeremy Jeffress to start the year on the DL. I'm like, yeah, because Hader and Neville and all these other guys.
So, I mean, like, if this is pretty serious today, I mean, today's Wednesday. If you get signed by the weekend, before maybe I think there's still probably a lot of drafts, maybe you get. There's worse places he could end up to screw up a party.
But it's funny because that's one of the guys who you're like, that's a pretty good closer that now has been. Nope, guess not. But anyway, so I guess the general, what's the strategy? And you can do a total screw it. There's going to be so much, like, 2/3 of teams are at some point, even if it's short term, are going to change their closer. So why bother? But I think you and I we like to get one. And we don't usually want to be the first one. Right. But we'll want to get one.
I think you want to get one this year. Yeah. I mean, again, I think it depends on your league makeup. How are your waivers and free agency run?
Yeah, it changes.
Is it first come, first serve? People like me and you, first come, first serve, that's fine. We know we're going to get someone.
We have no lives. Right. We're waiting for that.
But,
we're charting bullpen usage.
Even auction free agent budget, you can kind of choose your own destiny with, like, paying for them. So you can be like, I know I'm going to be on top of this.
Right.
But if it's like a straight waiver priority kind of thing, I still think you definitely want one of these guys who's good and just has a job, period.
So even if you go in and your RP1 is Felipe Vasquez, you feel fine because you're like, he's got a job and he's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this year I think you have to take that.
Right. Raisel Iglesias?
Yeah, you disagree with me, but I've heard talk from Cincinnati that they're going to use him in tough situations, in multi-inning situations, and that he's not going to be straight up. I think he's a good pitcher, and that's why they want to do that with him. But I'm not sure he's going to come in the top of the ninth or the bottom of the ninth and just get saves.
Might not. Well, sometimes I never know if they mean like, yeah, we'll bring him in for 5-out saves, or if they legit mean like we're going to bring him in the seventh, pitch the seventh and eighth.
Now that might be enough if he's still going to, like, Hader doesn't really close ever.
Right.
So it's like, that's a trade-off. I'm taking those Ks, but I'm not ever getting a save.
Right.
If Iglesias is still going to get 25 saves, and it's like, okay, he's a good pitcher and he gets 25 saves. But
well, it seems like the guys a lot of people are targeting. A lot of people are saying, look for these guys as number 2s. We're kind of almost saying, maybe they fall into the number 1, or Kirby Yates and Jose Leclerc.
I think you have to consider them.
Yeah,
because
the numbers are good. They support, but with both of them, you go, well, they're not quote unquote proven. Like they've saved games. They're going to start the year in the 9th. But what if they're now the Rangers gave Leclerc a big extension.
Right.
They're not a team with playoff aspirations. He's probably fine. Yates, though, that's a team that has some goals.
Yeah.
How much leash does he get? At what point do they say, well, let's make a
lot
move?
Of these guys. I mean, I'm not that excited about drafting Brad Hand as a legitimate closer, but he's in the top 3rd. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, only one guy's going to get Chapman. Only one guy's going to get Diaz. Jansen's got question marks with the heart problems.
I mean, people love Trian, and again, another guy who jumped big time in his numbers, and that I think he's coming back to earth a little bit this year. We don't have him the number 2 closer like a lot of other places do, but we still have him 6th.
And I mean, you got to believe he's secure. But I mean, my point is, not every. I mean, I guess if you're in a 10-team league and there's 10 closers, everyone's going to get one. Mm-hmm.
But even then, someone's going to say, no, I'm getting 2.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who are going to look at this and say, I need 2.
So my point is, you have to deal with Vasquez and Hand.
There might be someone who goes into the year and they're like, my top closer is Ken Giles. Yeah. That sucks, but whatever. I'll get him. Cool. Way to overdraft 2 guys, idiot. One of them's going to be hurt.
Yeah, I kind of don't know how to play it. Like, I don't know if you get the sure thing.
That's award-winning analysis.
Or if you say it's such a mess, I don't care, and I'll take 3 crappy ones and keep playing it all year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, which one.
Well, you and I, back in the day, we were always like, I'm getting 4 closers.
Oh, yeah. And we were the worst ones, like the worst offenders of running to the waiver wire.
And just speculative.
And
but also, like,
us.
I don't. Yeah, obviously, we ruined everything. Yeah. But I don't know if you can plan for 4 anymore. It's so tough.
Oh, you're not drafting 4.
It's so tough.
You're not drafting 4 unless you get real lucky at the end with the guys.
Well, Michael Givens is going to be available.
Yeah, but it's like, do you want that?
No.
Do you want the Marlins closer? Do you want the Marlins closer?
Yeah, Romo's okay. Steckenrider has some upside, but there's other teams where I'm like, Michael Givens. I don't even know if he's going to close.
I think that stuff's going to happen in people's closer too this year.
Yeah, it really could. So, all right, that's a tough position. Fantasy baseball's not easy, but I think we did a good
For
job.
some of us, it is.
All right. Well, yeah, you're cool keeper league. So anyway, we broke it down. I think we did a good job. We did a good job given our limitations.
I'm exhausted. I mean, this was my first game of the season, my first reps.
This was your first day you played the full game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a lot. I mean, this was.
You've just been doing dry swims.
I'm going to have to hit. Yeah. I mean, these are my first wet
Playing yourself
swims.
into shape, though.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do.
That's what we all have to
I'm
do.
going to have to hit the.
That's why we suggest doing mock drafts.
I'm going to have to hit the tub,
Do some mock
the
drafts.
ice bucket.
You know, you can go to sportnews.com/fantasy, just find our cheat sheet that has links to everything, and you can find the mock draft simulator from Fantasy Pros
Wow,
where you
that
can
seems
go
like a
through
lot of steps.
It kind of did. I thought I was going to make it sound easy. Google search it. That's tough too. But yeah, there's the mock draft simulator. Actually, just go to Fantasy Pros. We don't need the page view. And they have the mock draft simulator where you can run through a draft in minutes, and you can set the parameters. Say, I want to draft 4th. What happens if I draft 6th? So it's a nice little product to get some of those wet swings in.
Yeah, I mean, these were some damp swings today.
These are some damn swings. But we did a good job. We'll be back next week. We'll be back every Wednesday during the season.
Yeah, give or take.
Next week we'll be breaking down some of our favorite things we disagree on. We've talked about some, but we'll look at a few going into the year.
Yeah, maybe
Players-
make some bets.
We might make a few
some
bets.
bets.
We might make a few bets. You know how I feel about Avasale and Randall Gritchick, but I have to backtrack now on Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah, you better.
That's a tough one. But we will be there. We'll take care of it. So for Eric Ferreira, I'm Matt Latusky. Thank you for listening, and until next time.